On March 23, 2026, someone bet $1.5 billion on a tweet that hadn't been posted yet, and this turned out to be a spectacular idea. For them? For everyone else? Not so much? Okay, here's the simplest way to understand what happened. Imagine you're at a poker table. Everyone's holding their cards, sweating. But one guy at the table, he's already seen your hand. He bets big, wins big, and walks out before anyone realizes the deck was marked. That's essentially what happened on Wall Street yesterday morning. Except the poker table was the entire global financial system, and the pot was $3 trillion. Chapter 1. Everyone gets rich. So here's the setup. For weeks, tensions between the US and Iran had been escalating. Trump had been threatening military strikes on Iranian energy facilities. Oil prices were surging. Defense stocks were up. Everyone on Wall Street was nervous, hedging their bets, buying protection against a potential war. The mood was, shall we say, tense? Then, March 23rd, 7:04 a.m. Eastern Time. Trump posts on Truth Social. He says he's had, quote, productive conversations with Iran, and he's pausing military action for 5 days. 5 whole days of peace. The market reacted like a golden retriever seeing its owner after 5 minutes. S&P 500 futures exploded upward. In 6 minutes, roughly $2 trillion in market value materialized out of thin air. Oil crashed, defense stocks dipped. Tech soared. Everyone was popping champagne. Traders were high-fiving. Portfolio managers were updating their bonus spreadsheets. And this turned out to be a spectacular idea for about 27 minutes. Chapter 2. But little did they know. Here's where things get, let's say, slightly suspicious. Remember that massive rally at 7:04? Well, market data shows that at 6:50 a.m., a full 14 minutes before Trump's tweet, someone placed approximately $1.5 billion in buy orders on S&P 500 E-mini futures. $1.5 billion. That's not your Uncle Gary panic buying on Robinhood. That's institutional. That's coordinated. That's someone who knew something. But little did the celebrating traders know this whole thing was about to age like milk in the sun. At 7:31 a.m., Iran's foreign ministry issued a statement, and I quote, "There were no negotiations." Iran's parliament speaker went further, calling it, and this is real, quote, "fake news designed to manipulate financial and oil markets," end quote. So to recap, someone bet billions before the tweet. The tweet moved trillions. And the country supposedly involved said the whole thing was made up. The market had a slight problem. Chapter 3. Meanwhile, let's look at this from 3 perspectives simultaneously. Meanwhile, on Wall Street, algorithmic trading systems detected the 6:50 a.m. surge and piled on. High-frequency traders, the ones with servers literally bolted to exchange buildings, front-ran the momentum. By the time Trump tweeted, the smart money was already in position. They rode the wave up and started selling into the retail frenzy. Meanwhile, in Tehran, officials were genuinely confused. Iran's foreign ministry scrambled to respond. Their denial hit the wires at 7:31, and the market gave back roughly $1 trillion in minutes. The whiplash was brutal. Meanwhile, on Reddit and Twitter, retail investors were doing what retail investors do. They saw the headline, bought the dip that wasn't a dip anymore, and watched their positions evaporate as Iran's denial cratered the rally. Some bought at the absolute top of a 27-minute sugar high. Yes, exactly what you're thinking. The people with the least information moved last and lost the most. And this turned out to be a spectacular idea for absolutely nobody except the shadow movers. Chapter 4. And who paid the price? Now, here's where the humor stops. Imagine you're a regular person. You've got a retirement account, maybe some index funds. You wake up, see the news, markets are ripping higher. Peace with Iran, great. You buy in? 20 minutes later, the whole thing unravels. Your portfolio swings wildly. You panic sell at a loss? That money? It didn't disappear. It transferred to whoever placed those orders at 6:50 a.m. This is the ugly math of information asymmetry. When someone at the top of the food chain gets news 14 minutes early, that's not a head start. That's a different sport entirely. It's like racing against someone who already crossed the finish line. The CFTC, America's futures market regulator, announced it would investigate potential market manipulation. But let's be honest, investigating algorithmic trades executed in microseconds, routed through multiple jurisdictions, potentially on behalf of unnamed entities, that's like trying to catch smoke with a fishing net. And the scariest part? This wasn't even the first time. Prediction markets, social media posts, geopolitical brinkmanship, these have become tools, not for diplomacy, but for profit. So what do we actually know? We know $1.5 billion moved 14 minutes before a presidential social media post. We know that post moved roughly $3 trillion in market value. We know the country named in the post denied everything. And we know retail investors, as usual, arrived last to a party that was already over. The question isn't whether the market can be moved by a single tweet. We know it can. The question is, who gets to read the tweet before it's posted? Because in modern finance, the game isn't about being smart. It's about being early. And if you're reading the news on your phone, you're not early. You're the exit liquidity. That's a fancy Wall Street term for the person who buys so that someone else can sell at a profit. Here's the lesson in one sentence. If the news surprises you, it's already priced in by someone else. Humans have been front-running information since the Rothschilds used carrier pigeons at Waterloo. 200 years later, we replaced pigeons with fiber optic cables, and absolutely nothing changed. And this turned out to be a spectacular idea. For the pigeons, but humans, we never learn. If this story made you rethink how markets really work, hit subscribe. Drop your theory in the comments. Who placed that $1.5 billion bet? And if you want to understand the next financial earthquake before it hits, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.